my dad was my biggest hype man,
All right.
you know, and I realize now because I dropped out of uni, right, when I came in. You know, I did uni for a year, then I just kind of dropped out,
Right.
just been aimlessly wandering around, you know,
Right.
just doing odd jobs here and there.
Right.
But I always have this sense of self-belief that, you know, one day I'm gonna make it, one day I'm gonna sort it out, you know, because my dad always enforced that in me, like, trust me, you're gonna do amazing things in this world, you know. And even though like some people might say that's not, because there is two sides to it, you know. Some parents don't give you that, you know, motivation, and they say that's not good if your parents are not motivating you, building your self-esteem. Some say don't cuddle your kids, you know, don't hype them up too much, you know. Don't, you know, like those when you compete in a race and they give everyone a medal, yeah, that type of thing where you should only give it to the winner. If you give everyone a medal, then they don't learn about competition and they don't learn about the real world. Because the real world, it is competition. And obviously, I lost my dad at 16, and it was such a massive hit for me. But I never realized how much it was going to impact my early adulthood. Because when I came here, I was still okay, you know. Obviously, yeah, you know, you lose a parent, it's pretty sad. But you know, I managed to get back to normal, and everything was cool. But it's only when I came here, I just didn't have that direction, and I was all over the place, you know. And I started realizing that I got, I would like just sort of attach myself to certain figures, whether it's maybe religious or political leader, almost like a father figure. Because my dad was like very opinionated man, you know, and I got my worldview through him. Then when he was gone, there was this void that he left. So I'll just like clip onto this new political belief, this new spiritual belief, and I pretty much got radicalized into believing some crazy stuff. You get me? And to the point where I even stopped talking to all my friends. Yeah, because I mean, I could
Not
even.
bad.
Yeah, I was literally in a cult, man.
So what were you believing?
Ah,
I'm curious.
you know, which it's not like killing people or anything. No, it's not something like that. But it's the whole like, because it started off as just Afrocentrism, like just Afrocentrism. Yeah, just believing, you know, the black man, all that, you know, knowing my history, my heritage. Then it kind of turned into some white people are the devil type of thing.
Right.
And then I kind of got to a point where I just thought every white person is evil. And I have no, like, even when I was going to work full of white people, I just wouldn't even talk to them anymore. And I was like a social person. And they're like, yo, dude, what's going on? I was like, please don't talk to me. You know, I don't like you right now. You know, they're like, yo, something's wrong with that guy. You know, and like literally I was confused, like all white people are evil. And I actually like, I want to go back home because I can't be in a country full of white people because I just felt, I don't know, I just felt something in me.
So
You know.
where are you now with that? And has it changed, or it's still
Uh,
a vivid perspective in you?
it's changed, man. Because the thing is, back home, even I went to a private school with white people,
Yeah.
and I was super close with them, and I was, you know, one of my best friends was white. But for me to all of a sudden twist that, because I was looking at history and look at them through that historic lens, like, oh, you people did this to my people, therefore you're evil. You have this thing in you, where one day I can be your friend, then tomorrow, who knows, maybe you might hang me or something. Like it's an extreme point of view. Like, yes, I do understand that it's important to know history, but I think I kind of took it to another level. And I thought about, you know, how those people like in the Muslim community who get radicalized, they say the West is evil, then they actually take action on it by maybe shooting someone or taking over a cafe. Then I kind of realized like, oh snap, this is kind of like where it ends up going, where you just think everything is evil. I'm done with this, you know. Then you just do something radical. Then you end up joining some militant gang. Fortunately, I never went along those lines because I'm not a violent person, so I'd never do that. Yeah, but obviously, I don't know if it's because I'm not a psychologist, but I am attributing it to maybe that lack of the lack of my father's presence might have played a part. You know, because I just found myself any dude who sort of reminded me of my dad, like just watching on YouTube, like, oh man, this guy's reminds me of my dad. He's kind of smart. This got this vibe about him. Then I just connect to that, and I just go along with the plan. Yeah, but right now I'm not with that. I'm like back to normal. There's a nuance,
So what do you think were the challenges you faced having obviously you lost your dad and you went through all that? What were the challenges that you faced when you were rehabilitating yourself and cutting and moving yourself away from all these things that you had encompassed yourself to try and fill that void?
Yeah. Well, because I went through a situation where, like a bad financial situation,
Right.
and the person who helped me out of that was a white person, right?
Right.
Who I had kind of had a huge argument, like a fight with, literally like physical fight, because he was trying to reach out to me, like, man, what's going on, man? Like, you used to be such a fun dude. Like, what's up with this? Then I was like, yeah, just leave me alone, man. You're evil, man. Your ancestors are evil. You're evil. It's like, well, where is this all coming from, man?
Right.
Then we had like a physical altercation. Like, oh, no one got hurt, but yeah, it got to that extreme.
Right.
And when I got into this weird financial hole, because I got into this mentality of, I'm not going to work for a white guy. Like it literally got to that point. And by that time, it had even gone towards Asians and stuff. Like, there was like, oh, the Asians, they're not our friends as well. Like, man, I was down some black hole.
You're like, against the
world. Which is crazy, man. And this guy came to check up on me one time because I was staying with my aunt at the time.
Right.
And then he's like, hey, man, what's going on? And I'm like, man, life sucks right now. And I think at that point I isolated myself so much that just someone coming to visit me, I was like, you know what, just talk to him,
Right.
And then I told him what was going on, what had been going through my mind, why I believed what I believed. It's like, look, man, I'm not gonna force this friendship,
Right.
but if you need work, you can work. For my dad, he's got a company, all this. I was like, okay, cool. I'll see. I'll talk to you in a week. Yeah. Take your time, man. Take your time. Because I understand that you obviously went through something.
Right.
Then like in a week later, I hit him up, and then started working again, and I got back onto my feet and started slowly opening up myself again to the world.
And what are some of the things that you, when you're doing these steps to sort of rehabilitate, obviously with the situation that you're in, what are some steps that you would highlight were really fundamental and important into that realization that you might have gone obviously south, but getting the compass to go back to the north? What are some important steps that you can really highlight and say that these were really fundamental into getting to the stage that you're at right now?
Well, because the only thing I can say right now is that a person being there for me,
right,
without me, even though I hadn't talked to this person for 8 months, the fact that the last altercation I had with them was me hitting them in the stomach, but they still, after 8 months, no one else was talking. Obviously, my family was talking to me, but they're black. But he made the effort to be like, you know what, man, I'm worried about this guy, and I have to be there for him. Then he came and checked on me, because he's the one who pulled me out of the hole. Because I said, like, look, no one's even talking to you. All these people are fake. They were never your friends. And then out of all my friends or ex-friends, the white guy is the one who shows up, man. He's like, man, what is going on, man? Because obviously he had a situation where his brother committed suicide. So I think maybe that's kind of why, he's like, man, I don't want this guy who I really care. Because even though he didn't know what it was, he can't assume, oh, this guy's suicide, but he just maybe saw something in my behavior that triggered him to go, you know what, let me reach out to him. Whereas I think my black friends were just more like, he's just whatever.
Just doesn't wanna. I get what you mean.
Because what I'm gathering is what he's saying is what a lot of parents don't realize is a lot of parents, they don't know the weight of their voice in their kids. And only 100 times, not 100 times, but a huge chunk of it, kids turns out to be what their parents are saying. Like for you, it started from a point of losing a voice. You see, this was the voice that was shaping you, the way you were going. This was a voice that was telling you what to do. And the moment you lose that, you become void. So you can imagine how many kids out there are going through that. where they've lost their parents who they thought my dad was a hero or my mom was a hero. Because I found myself in that situation where when I lost my mom, I lost the whole side of emotional side of me.
Right.
And it made me tough where there are some instances where you need to understand, but you just have to toughen up. Then I started dating someone and she kept saying to me, like, yeah, typical pure African man, you lack emotions. You because even when she was trying to say certain things to me I'll be like,
what is this?
Just toughen up. Like
move
on with life. Like don't bother me with this. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But you start to realize that we come from different backgrounds. She comes from a very balanced family where she has a mom and dad, and she's so close to her dad, and her dad thinks she's everything. So it's those things where I understand you, where it's very important for every child. I always say if you're under 30, you need a voice that's higher than your voice.
Yeah.
You need that guidance because it's so easy to lose track and to go that way. Like for you, I wouldn't say you're a bad guy. I wouldn't say you indulge in bad things. No, it was just a season of life that was teaching you certain things. And don't forget, we were also coming from background where Mugabe was propaganda stuff in Zimbabwe. Where, if you notice, it's a thing where it's so easy for Zimbabweans
to
follow and to say white people are bad people.
Yes.
I've got friends that I went to uni with, girls who, if you hear them talking about white guys, I'm like, you have never dated one, but you so hate them with a passion. Like, what have they done to you?
Yeah, exactly.
But I've started to learn that losing that voice, because it's a coverage. You see, for you, like you said, my father was very opinionated man. He was a voice. So once you lose that, you didn't want to find yourself in a weak point.
Yeah.
So in that now you're fighting. Like, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. So, but I'm glad not a lot of people can actually come back.
Yeah.
And you see how life, like for me, I had the same situation where I remember one time I was struggling to get work and I was struggling. And I had this whole thing of I'll never confide my problems into female. Then I caught up with one friend of mine and she's like, dude, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? I was like, dude, things are not going well. Days later, she rang me. I spoke to my dad, come get a job.
Wow.
And out there I was thinking,
yeah,
what is life trying to teach me?
Exactly.
So it's very dangerous to conclude things that you don't have substantial backup.
Yeah.
Like for you, it's like, oh, I hate white people, but guess what? Those black people that you think are the coolest are not there for you.
Yeah.
It's the white guy that now shows up for your rescue.
Yeah.
So, but my question to you that I'm so interested to know is, how did you handle with the relationship with your mom? Considering your dad is no longer there, he was your hero. How do you deal with things with your mom?
Well, I think my mom tried her best because I think there were two things going on with my mom. Because obviously I'm the firstborn child, right? So she's having to deal with raising a teenager. For the first time, she's new to it. You know, she's like dealing with my ups and downs. Me just going away for like 2 days somewhere, you know.
Come back.
Yeah.
Like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, then one time, so I went to boarding school. One time my friend had these condoms, packets of condoms, right? Random. Then I just like, yeah, I'll take some. Even though I wasn't having sex or anything. I just like, yeah, I'll take some. It's cool to have some, you know. You feel good. So I hid them underneath my bed. So one day my mom was cleaning my room. She never cleans my room. But this one day she was cleaning my room. And then she finds them. She flips out, man. Oh, you're sleeping with prostitutes now. Wow. I was like, whoa, what are avenues? And I was like, whoa, mom. You know, I'm only like 16, 15, yeah, like, I don't even know what the avenues are, you know, like, I just had them just to act cool in front of the gang, you know, because obviously you don't want to be that guy who hasn't had sex. I'm like, yeah, give me the condoms, man, I need 20, man, you know, just But my mom instantly thought, oh, my son is sleeping with prostitutes, he's gonna get AIDS, STDs, and oh my, yeah. So I fought with my mom a lot as a teenager. So then with the loss of my dad, I think it just made things even worse. because she now felt she had to play that role of a dad as well, and it just kind of continued until one day I remember apologizing to her for something because I shouted at. That was my first time shouting at my mom. Because even though something, I just used to say like little remarks there and there, but one time I shouted and I'm like, just leave me alone, you bitch, Yeah, which was that's crazy, like coming from an African kid as well. Yeah.
Shock.
And I think I actually scared her, and she went into her room, and I never seen my mom scared before. I never scared my mom before. Then I felt that rubbed me so wrong. I was like, oh my word, I just shocked my mom. Like I just put fear into my mom, right? And then the next day, she was sitting in the lounge. Then I went and talked to her. I'm like, Mom, please, I want to apologize for yesterday. I don't know what's going on with me right now. I'm just feeling all over the place. I'm not going to do the whole, it's my dad, I lost my dad. But I was like, maybe it's dad. And it's like, how do you think I feel? I've been with this man pretty much since I was 19. She was like 40. So 20 plus years, and I'm also dealing with this. I'm having to raise all these kids by myself. Look at all the stress I'm going through. And I'm trying my best, and I was honestly scared. I thought you were going to attack me or something like that. Because I've heard these stories where a father goes and then this kid just runs rampant in the house, and just causes chaos. So that's why I was like, man, I need to really start looking at my actions and realizing I'm not the only one going through this. I'm not the only one who lost a father. You get me? She lost a husband, a partner, a best friend. Yeah, so that was the situation with my mom. And now me and my mom are it's amazing. It's because after that was the turning point of our relationship because we had never clicked up until that point. Yeah.
It's funny because you kind of missed the first segment where we spoke about those intentional decisions where it boils back to you. And I must commend you to say that's a manly thing there to honor up to your actions, because some of the dangers of our culture is, even at a younger age, once testosterone starts kicking in, and you feel you're the man, you want everyone to feel it at home. You see, and there's a lot of brushing off of women in our culture, and it happens so easily.
True.
It happens so easily. So I must say, it's a lesson for the day. Just having the ability to go back and to apologize, because I always say having the muscle to say I'm sorry to me sticks out a lot, because I used to be so stubborn. I would never say I'm sorry, man. I would never back off.
Black men never apologize.
I would never back off. But you should always see it in a perspective of how would you feel if your own child does the same thing to you.
Yeah.
It's important. So for you, it's you just brought the light in the room, and it's like we are buzzing because we have already gone on a different tangent. And my other question to you, Luke, is for you it would be a nightmare hearing these stories where,
to be honest, I wouldn't say it's a nightmare, because also, despite me having both parents, I kind of went to my little phase where you feel obviously nobody's listening to me. I don't know what's going on. I apply for many jobs, and every interview you go to, you have that hope that, okay, fine, we've advanced. How are they going to pick me? I'm the best. Shut down. You think something's wrong with you. They start thinking maybe my parents, they tell me, you're lazy. Look at the attitudes you're doing. What about all these things? Look at your friends. Look at the way you live your life. And then you're thinking, look, I'm trying my best to sort out all these situations that I'm going through. And that void, unfortunately for you, it had to come from your father. For me, I had both parents. One day they love you so much. We believe in you. Do what you gotta do to make it work in this world. And you're working out, beating your chest. I'm the man. I'm gonna show them who I am, and I got my parents to back me. Then the next day it flips. The parents are like, look at you, good for nothing. Look at you, so lazy. Look, even your younger siblings, they're doing this, they're doing that. And now you're like, hang on. I thought you were with me. And now you start going back to some of those thoughts you had, or maybe this is the reason why you put me in boarding school, because you thought maybe I was just a good for nothing.
Oh.
You know, you just want to discard me out there. Then when you feel, oh, maybe you should come home, his lent is less, and you bring him back, then you be like, nah, that was wrong, put him back again. You know, you start having all those emotions, those thoughts, and everything. So I believe that given these stories that you guys are saying, it also sheds a light into also some of the things that I also went through. And it's important to just walk out and say, hey, look, I apologize. I may have acted a certain way that did not please you and everything, but I need you to understand that this is what I'm going through and I need help. You're my parents, and I know that maybe there are some things that I do, or there are some things I might have said that I did not think through because obviously for you were growing up, and obviously for you were angry because of something. And for me, obviously, it's the situations are just confusing everywhere, you know. I think it's important to just take a step back, take a deep breath, think it through, and say, are these words and actions that I'm doing going to either benefit me or it's going to cause a consequence? And I think it's that first step of actually being a man is to be vulnerable, accept the wrong that you did, and actually make an effort to make it better. Because I think a lot of people just take all these things and like, because it happened to me, then guess what? This is who I am. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to be stuck in this way. And then we get to see all these toxic things where some people lay hands on women, beat, so then some people out here causing fights in the streets because they're trying to, move things around.
Do you think this might not apply to both parents? Do you think it's a hassle as a young teenager, male teenager, trying to figure out yourself in the real world? And for you lost your dad, so obviously being with a single mom in the house, was it a challenge of trying to figure out yourself as a man? You no longer have the man. Do you feel your mom had all the tools to equip you as a young man, or your encouragement to other young men that are in that situation is, yes, comply with what your mom is doing, be grateful for the support and everything, but go find a male figure that can also speak to your life? How do you deal with that? I've always been interested to say.
Well, yeah, because I went to a boys' school. Yeah, so because 16, I was like Form 4. So I remember when I was a bit early, like 13, I looked up to the uppers. They were like my figures, like, oh yeah, I looked up to these guys a lot. Yeah, but obviously at 16, I didn't really look up to 18-year-olds that much. But there were some teachers who sort of, I guess, were like father figures and who played sort of that role to me. But I think at that point, I wasn't that open yet. I was still a bit closed off. And that's the thing. It's only when I came here, when I was open again to the whole accepting like a father figure or like a mentor, that's when I kind of dive deep into these waters. So maybe that gap that I had, just sort of locking, like keeping to myself, going through my fights with my moms, and then opening up myself, but I opened up myself to the wrong people, maybe, caused something there. But this is my personal opinion, I think you need a father figure or a big brother, because I do have siblings, younger siblings, and I can tell the way I interact with them, and I feel that void for them. Because my little brother one time said, look, I don't even remember playing with dad, and I know all that I've learned from you. All that I learned as a man, the keys, the gems, the insight you've given me into life, I've learned from you, and he actually asked me, like, I feel for you, man, because you lost him at 16 and you pretty much had this whole space where you didn't have anyone that you attached yourself to for a long time. And when you did, it was something crazy, And I don't think a mother can fill that role, honestly, as the dad role. I don't. That's my personal opinion. It might be controversial, I don't know. But yeah, I think you do need like a father figure, male figure, bigger brother, a mentor,
It is very controversial.
Yeah.
I avoided to say it because I've got friends that are single moms, they're trying to raise sons, and it's not easy. You try to understand them. But the question is always, given you are now in that situation, do you also feel like you are mature enough to embrace, given your parent marries another man? Do you feel you could be that mature enough to allow this guy to play the father role? Or it could be a backlash in, you're not my dad, I understand you are my mom, but you have no respect. Because for me,
yeah.
because for me, right, I'll be blunt with you. I had zero respect to my stepmom because of so many things, and it's not something that I'm proud of. Obviously, growing up, I had to reflect on myself and refix certain things, and I tend to now put responsibilities to myself. That's how I deal with things. I blame myself, then I fix things.
Mhm.
So it's another thing where I'm also intrigued to know from your side to say, how, given you're now in that situation, do you feel you could be able to respect this guy to say, I can still look at you as my dad and allow you to mentor me, to bring the fatherhood in me, and to raise me as your own?
There was a situation that happened. I can't go too much into detail because it's a family issue, but it's not with my mom. Where there was someone who did try to do that, try to be, because my father, it's not only me, like I think the whole family, there's this presence, this void that's there. And when everyone comes into it, people always have, any male guy who comes outside of our family has to hear so much about my dad. You know, like I'm not one of the people who contribute to that, but this guy felt so much pressure, so much weight that he felt like, yo, let me play this role and try to be a father figure to these kids, you know, who lost their dad. And me and him fought, man. I completely rejected them. And I was like, bro, no thanks, bro. Like, relax, bro. I'm not interested in that. Yeah, man. And so when you ask me that, if it was my mom in that situation, I think I might react the same way. And it's not even, I think I'd respect him. I'll say, look, man, I respect you. Just don't try to do that whole father thing to me, man. Like, for real. Because, nah, I don't know. I wouldn't be, because,
So for you, in rejecting that, would you be trying to sort of keep a memory of who your father was, or are you trying to say that with this void, I'm going to try and learn some of the things that I wasn't taught?
Yeah.
That I can probably get out of myself, so that I can try to sort of try to mentor myself into becoming this father when I finally get a chance.
Yeah.
Or is it just a clash of egos and say that, you know what, your methods are just a bit too weird, and
that's what it was. Yeah, I think it was a clash of egos, man. I honestly think it was.
It's not just clash of egos.
Yeah.
Every person is different in their systems.
Right.
You see, but kids, they lean on a certain system because for him, he's already 16 and his dad passed away.
Right.
So this guy had an opportunity to install a certain software in him for 16 years.
Right.
So then you show up, you have your own way of thinking, because it happens naturally. You see, I think for guys it's different when it's your father, but if it's your mother, you're also starting to think, do you genuinely love my mom? Or you're also one of those guys that you just want to do a hit and run. Where are you? You're trying to understand this guy to say, what's your role with my mom? Because it's also your responsibility to protect your mom. You see, but you cannot make decisions for your mom.
No, you can't.
You can't. She's her own person. She makes her own decisions. Whereas it's different when I'm with my dad and he's trying to sass some girls. Different setup. You see, there's no, dude, hold back.